Hey there, my name's Alana, and today I'm going to be sharing my thoughts on everything that Charlotte Tilbury released in 2020. And let me tell you, girl has had a year. When I first dipped my toes into Charlotte Tilbury, she was releasing a collection of lipsticks here or there. But this year, she threw that all off the table and introduced, I can't even count how many things. It has been a lot of hard work tracking through her press releases, her Instagram, my purchases, things that I thought about to try to gather the list of everything she released in 2020. Now, if I missed anything, please let me know in the comments down below, but I'm pretty sure I've got it all. We're going to be taking a look at what I purchased, what I took a pass on and why, and my thoughts. So why don't you grab a drink and a snack, because I feel like this one's going to be a long one. Let's get into it. So she kicked off the year with a Lunar New Year collection. This included a magic cream with a red lid, and the first time I ever saw her do a lipstick that wasn't rose gold. This shade is called Magic Red, and it was a part of her Lunar New Year launch. Definitely a really beautiful deep dark red, and I remember the first and only time I've worn this. Because when I purchased this lipstick, I was envisioning myself going to evening events and galas. And so I wore this lipstick to a black tie gala I went to in January. That was the only event I got to go to like that all year. Weird. But I absolutely loved it. I got tons of compliments. And now that we're sort of getting back into that sort of deep, dark, vampy winter time, I'm definitely ready to pull this guy back out. Following Lunar New Year and just in time for Valentine's Day, Charlotte Tilbury was like, lip liner? Lipstick collection. She launched Pillow Talk as truly an empire. This included expanding the Pillow Talk family to include Pillow Talk Medium and Pillow Talk Intense. Pillow Talk Medium, and Pillow Talk Intense. Pillow Talk Intense is a kissing formula lipstick. The other two are Matte Revolution. She also extended the blush from just being regular Pillow Talk to also including Pillow Talk Intense. As you can see, these look very, very similar, but at the same time different. On the left we have Pillow Talk Intense, and on the right we have Pillow Talk. On me, the traditional Pillow Talk blush is a blush and more of a highlighter or a blush topper, whereas Pillow Talk Intense is really more like two blushes for me. Though the center does have a really nice shimmer to it, I think on deeper complexions you're going to get that similar effect. She then also released this massive 12-pan eyeshadow palette. And if I'm going to be honest, I purchased this one 100%, so I could complete my Pillow Talk family. I found that when I use this palette, I tend to stick to the day or the date section. I actually haven't touched Dream because quite honestly, those pinks kind of intimidate me. And normally when I wear pinks that bright, or that deep I should say, they make my eyes look poofy, and that's not a look. So like the entire Charlotte Tilbury family, I was obsessed with the Pillow Talk expanded universe. And we're gonna see throughout the year that she continues to add pieces to this iconic collection. I mean, this woman not only took a lip liner and made it into an empire, but she literally figured out 1,010 ways to sell me the color pink. As a collector and an enthusiast, I was over the moon to be able to add these pieces to my collection. But I'd say the reality is that for me and my complexion, I still basically 100% of the time that I'm using Pillow Talk, use the classic Pillow Talk lipstick or the classic Pillow Talk blush. I don't think that if you have my complexion that you need all the pieces of the Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk universe when it comes to the blush, and she also released lip liners, I should also add that. When it comes to lip liners, blush, and sort of lipstick family. But I think it's really great that more people are able to access that similar effect that Pillow Talk has on me. That being said, Pillow Talk is not my favorite Charlotte Tilbury lipstick, but that is a topic for a whole other video. So at that point, I was feeling a little tapped out from spending money on Charlotte Tilbury. I love Charlotte, I love her products, but there is a limit to how much money I can spend on makeup at any given time. And so that's when she released a really neat collection. And that was a collection of eyeshadows and double-ended eyeliners where each quad was designed for a different eye color. There's a really striking blue one that I definitely want to get my hands on. It's a really nice maroon one, but I told myself that I had so many kind of palettes and I had so many pieces from her collection that I was so happy with that I didn't need it. And while from a purely selfish collector standpoint, I wish I had picked them up, I don't miss having them in my collection, and I quite frankly don't need them. Now I should add, earlier in the year she also reformulated the Rebel. She didn't just reformulate it, she changed the colors from being more of a bright emerald green to more of a khaki, more wearable, neutral olive. And I'm definitely happy to see that she's been updating something. Her early formula and her current formula is night and day. So after that collection of eyeshadow palettes meant for each eyeshadow color, she then released Magic Serum. Now I had the opportunity to try a few free samples of it from different orders I've made from her website. And I will say it's very nice and I do quite like it. However, I'm very happy with my current skincare routine, and as an influencer, I'm very fortunate to receive a lot of skincare. So I decided not to purchase it. And to be honest, for me when it comes to Charlotte Tilbury, I'm coming to Charlotte for complexion products, eyeshadow, and lipstick. I prefer to get my skincare from brands that are more focused on skincare. So then she released the Hydrating Lip Oil. And I definitely took a pass on that because I have a lot of lip balms that I really like, and I just didn't feel like it was a piece that I had to have in my collection. But the next one was something I definitely needed, and that was her airbrush bronzer. As you can see, I've hit pan on this thing. Now these are really cool because it's refillable, so when I'm done I can actually pop it out, and for a fair bit less money than buying a whole new compact, I can just get the powder. So I thought that was a really great sustainable move from her, and also, quite frankly, friendly to the bank account, which is not something we generally find when it comes to Charlotte Tilbury. I use this bronzer in the shade Fair, and at first I thought it had like no impact on my skin, but it really warms up the skin and it feels like it's meant to sort of give you like a Mediterranean glow, and it really feels like I just spent enough time in the sun to just give my skin a little bit more. And so I find Fair is very flattering on me. I would love to try it one shade darker as well, but I'm in no rush and her products are not cheap. So her next palette launch was Desert Haze, and I didn't purchase this when it came out. However, I was able to grab it in her most recent mystery box. So this is what Desert Haze looks like. And it's a beautiful palette. It really gives you this stunning, smoldery look that just, for me, it really makes my sort of blue-green eyes just pop. So I'm really glad to have added this to my collection. However, I did not add it to my collection when it was released. So now we have Magic Cream Light. And this is another product where I chose to take a pass on her skincare. She has a lot of fans of her skincare and it's very good, but I have just bins and bins of skincare I need to get through. That being said, I did use it, again, through some free samples that I got from different purchases, and it was really nice. I find Magic Cream can be a little bit heavy on my skin. Even though my skin is dry, I find it is a little bit heavy, and so Magic Cream Light gave me the same impact, but just felt a lot more comfortable on my skin. So definitely be open to adding that to my collection in the future. So then she had a release that basically had my name all over it, and that was the Love Filter lipsticks. These were a collection of wedding lipsticks, which I did a dedicated video on. I'll leave that down below. But she released Mrs. Kisses, Wedding Bells, and First Dance. So Mrs. Kisses, Wedding Bells, and First Dance were sent to me in PR, and they were designed as a series that were sort of wedding friendly. I joke that she was a year too late for my 2019 wedding, but at my 2019 wedding I wore American Sweetheart, which is one of my all-time favorite Charlotte Tilbury lipsticks. Now these lipsticks were a beautiful collection. I'm not sure if they're exactly what I would have in mind for a wedding lipstick, but the formula was beautiful, they weared beautifully, and you guys really enjoyed them. So next up was a product I did take a pass on, and that was the Pillow Talk Lip and Cheek Glow. And this was a sort of a cream blush or lip product. Kind of reminded me of like the Stila convertible colors that you could just kind of tap on with your fingers. Now cream blush definitely had a moment this year, and I think this really tapped into that, but I took a pass on it because, you know, I tried to get into cream blush this year and I did a bit, but I'm a powder blush kind of girl. And one thing that I've been really trying to do this year, and will definitely be trying to do more next year, is really think through any purchases I'm planning on making and making sure that they're products that fit my style of makeup and fit the kind of products I already enjoy wearing. Speaking of products I don't already use, she then released the Airbrush Flawless Setting Spray. And I rarely use setting sprays. I'll use it like sometimes if I'm going to a fancy event or a wedding, or not that I go to those anymore, or a party, also not happening in 2019. But I find makeup wears very well on my skin, and I tend not to use setting sprays. Just feels like one extra step that I just always kind of forget about, and I've just never really noticed or felt a need for it in my collection. So I did take a pass on that, although the reviews were really good. I just don't really wear setting sprays, so I didn't see the need to add that to my collection. The next one though, when I talk about expanding the Charlotte Tilbury universe, she introduced the Pillow Talk Jewel Pop, which is this stunning, stunning eyeshadow pop. So I like to apply the Jewel Pop using my fingers just on my lid to just give my eyes that pop and that sparkle. And every time I wear it, again, I get tons of compliments, and it just has this beautiful shimmer to it. In addition to that, she also released a new lip gloss formula. And this one I'm wearing today. I'm gonna put some more on. And at first, I wasn't too interested in it because I don't like sparkly lip glosses. However, I was sent this in PR, and after trying it on, I realized that it has more of just a subtle shimmer inside of it rather than like a sparkle. So this I find very flattering, and I think it makes the lips look absolutely beautiful. So then she released the Pillow Talk mascara, and I had the opportunity to participate in a virtual Zoom PR event for that mascara, which was a really cool experience. I mean, of course, I'd rather have been at an event in person, but that was just not a 2020 thing. So this mascara is really beautiful. I've used it a couple of times so far. I want to use it more, but it really does just define and open up the eyes. And again, the Pillow Talk universe is just never ending. This year, she also renamed the Walk of Shame lipstick to the Walk of No Shame lipstick. And she expanded that range to include, I believe it was a blush and a eyeshadow quad. I passed on that collection because it's a little bit more deeper and berry toned and just not really shades I reach for. But I always kind of felt that that would more flatter a deeper complexion. Now we are getting into her holiday collection. And this was tough, guys. I wanted everything. So, first up, we have the Bejeweled Eyes to Hypnotize palette. It came in a beautiful plastic, got a silver sparkle compact. And what I really liked about this, other than the metallic formula, is there were so many different color stories in it. We have golds, browns, pinks, purples, really a lot of different looks, compared to the Pillow Talk eyeshadow palette that really just doubles down on pink. So I thought this was a beautiful, beautiful collection, and I've really enjoyed playing with it so far. She also released a smaller 6-pan matte eyeshadow quad eyeshadow palette that is designed with smoky eyes, and enjoyed making smoky eyes with this eyeshadow palette. There was a highlighter that I skipped because I love the highlighter that comes in the Film Star Bronze and Glow. And I have so many other highlighters that I'm working on right now, and so while it looked really nice, it was really big, and I just didn't feel like it was something that I would get as much enjoyment from compared to the eyeshadow palettes. She did release a mini Film Star Bronze and Glow, which I did pick up for future travel endeavors. Who knows when that's happening though. And then she had 3 lipsticks, the Super Nude, Super You, and Super Starlit. And this was a neat collection because it had tiny little rhinestones on the lid. Super Nude, Super You, Super Starlit. These two are both Matte Revolution, and this is in her Kissing formula. That selection was sent to me in PR, and I have to say, Super You just felt like a warmer toned Pillow Talk on me. Absolutely stunning. I loved Super You. Super Nude and Super Starlit are nice as well, but Super You took the cake for me. Next up, we have a product that you know I loved, and that was the Fire Rose palette. I did a whole review of this eyeshadow palette, and it was absolutely stunning. The shimmer on that, beautiful. The number of compliments I got both online and when I would wear it grocery shopping, like with my mask on, was incredible. The gold pop in that eyeshadow quad was next level. I think that was her all-time, or I should say so far, because Charlotte has just upped the quality on, I mean, her quality is already amazing, but she has upped the quality on so many of her pieces, and I just know that in 2021 there's going to be just more and more amazing stuff coming out. But so far, the pop shadow in Fire Rose is the best one I've ever used from her. And at the beginning of when I was sort of exploring her brand, I didn't like the pop shadows at all, but that one in Fire Rose just gold shimmer over the sort of sunsetty colors was just amazing. In 2020, Charlotte also extended the range of her incredible eyes to mesmerize. Sunset Rose, Copper Sunrise, Star Gold, and Golden Eclipse. 2 of these shades were released as limited edition as part of the Nordstrom anniversary sale, so I did pick up one of the shades there, and then 2 of the other ones were released with the Fire Rose collection. I love the Eyes to Mesmerize, and while Jean is my all-time favorite in the Eyes to Mesmerize collection, line, these new additions are absolutely beautiful. These make for incredible one-and-done eyeshadows. And I love using them as eyeshadow bases, both with her eyeshadows, and sometimes I'll just use as an eyeshadow and pop a bronzer in my crease. I love the formula, I love the wear, and the other thing I love about them is because they're so shimmery, you can put those down as your base and just work with mattes on the rest of your lid, and it'll still have a beautiful, beautiful shimmer to it. So then she released the Tinted Love Lip and Cheek Tints. And I took a pass on those. I'm not really a tinted cheek or tinted lip person, and as much as I tried to get into cream and liquid products this year, and I did experiment with them and I did enjoy them, at the end of the day I keep on coming back to powder. So then she released her Glowgasm Lip pH Changing Balms. There's a lighter one and a darker one, and while the darker one looks like a lot of fun, again, I don't really reach for sort of tinted lip balms like that. I much prefer a lipstick. You know, like I'm a lipstick girl. And so while I would definitely love to try those, and if they had been sent to me in PR, I'm sure I would have experimented with them and enjoyed them. They're just not products that I wanted to spend my money on. She did launch a mystery box, which I did purchase and I really enjoyed. Then those lip oils that she released earlier in the year, she brought them in 2 tinted versions, which again, I took a pass on. We're nearing the end. She also released the Flawless Filter Shade Extension, but she brought in some in-between shades, and she also extended the range to include a deeper shade. So personally, shade 1 works really well for me, so I didn't see a need to pick up other pieces in it, but definitely an exciting launch and wonderful that more people are going to be able to enjoy that great product. As part of that line, she also released a double-ended eyeliner, which I did pick up, and 2 new eyeshadow palettes, which was Diva Lights, which is the palette I'm using right now, and Star Aura, which is another beautiful palette, and I have my thoughts on that whole collection up in a video that was recently posted, so definitely check that out. And at the time of filming, the Eyes of a Star eye filter palette was not released, but it should be released in the next couple of days or by the time I have released this. Now I am going to leave links to as many of the products that are still available down below if you wanted to check any of them out. But as you can see, Charlotte released a lot of products this year. I was fortunate to be sent a number of them in PR, but I did also purchase a number of them with my own money. Anyways, thank you guys so much for joining me here today. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the 2020 launches from Charlotte Tilbury. I'd love to hear if there's anything that you picked up or if there's anything you'd love to see from her in 2021. Not that she's listening to me, but it's a lot of fun to talk about her products, and Charlotte just releases the most incredible quality, beautiful color stories. If you're still watching, first of all, thank you. Second of all, if you haven't already entered, I have a 5,000 subscriber giveaway, and every single product in that set is Charlotte Tilbury. So definitely check it out. I'm a huge Charlotte Tilbury fan and brand enthusiast, and I'd love to share more with you in the weeks and months ahead. So don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Mwah.